to you about life in Canada.
Okay.
Now you are staying in a very small city.
Yes.
That is
Oh,
Wolfville
it's a town.
town.
Yeah.
Okay, and earlier you have stayed in a big city like Montreal,
I spent a month and a half there. Yes.
right? So you have experienced life in a big city also, in a small town also.
Yes.
Give me your feedback about life in a small town.
Well, I live in a university town, and I do go to university there. So during the year, it's always up and bumping. There's so many clubs and everything. For someone who's immigrating there, who's not a university student, I can see how it can be a little bit dull, because if you're not working for the university or don't have a job in the small town, then it can seem a bit small. But at the same time, it's also wonderful because everything is within walking distance, and whatever you need is on one street. You don't have to drive 15 minutes or look for parking every time you go to places. And it's a really small community too. So I remember when I started meeting people, for me to walk from my university to maybe Tim Hortons, which is a 10-minute walk from one point A to point B, I would take about 30 minutes, because I would say hi to everyone and I would meet people that I knew, and then I would sit and talk to them, or just stand and talk to them, ask them how it's going. So it would take me 30 minutes to get from point A to point B, just because everyone knew, everybody else.
Yeah. Now, what about the cost of living?
Well, this is small town. Well, it's for someone who wow, I'll have to think about that. I don't know.
But it is definitely cheaper.
It depends on your living standard, because I know so many people who live at coffee shops, so they eat and drink everything at a coffee shop, and coffee is quite expensive because it's all fair trade, so you won't get really bad coffee. You get delicious coffee, and then you just sit and work there. So like it can get expensive.
And most important thing for new migrants, whenever they are thinking about small towns,
Yeah.
basic question they are having is what kind of job opportunities are there.
Well, the job opportunities are very specific to someone's skills. You can work small part-time jobs if you want, but there are quite a few companies too. Like in Wolfville, there's Henry Shine, and there's you can work for RBC, and you can work for the university. And there's also two or three. Actually, there's several startups in the university town. So if you're a developer or a marketing person, you can work for them as well.
Right.
So opportunity wise, if you have a specific specialized skill set, you can find a job.
Particularly from IT point of view, what kind of skills you will rate as having much more demand?
Web development, ranking, and then data analysis.
That is
They would be the top two,
Mm.
and then from there you can. Then backend is, I would say, number 4. Number 3 would be I think web development is
okay.
quite
We
important.
keep hearing the stories that Canadian employers prefer or those persons who are having Canadian experience. Now, what is this Canadian experience? You already stayed there almost 4 years now. How will we describe this concept of Canadian experience?
Well,
What is so special about that thing?
there are many things that are special about living in Canada, according to me, because you live in a different atmosphere, so everyone's mentality is very different, and attitude towards other people is very different.
Give
And
me one specific example.
I find everyone is very welcoming and very respectful, actually, of each other. It doesn't matter what country you're from, but there's this general respect that everyone has for people, and you wouldn't find that being abused. I mean, rarely probably is, but
And the
you like the
Canadian
respect.
workplace, what is your impressions of
Work-best
it?
ethic? Well, for starters, I worked when I worked from 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, and it's not long hours, because everyone wants to have a life there. No one wants to work overtime and really slog their work term. But and then my work experience is what you asked me, right?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and then depending on what company you're at, there's just it's going to be like any work experience out there, I guess. There is a general work ethic. No, actually, no. There is one thing that I should mention is they expect you to be self-motivated, at least in smaller companies.
They don't want to be just you follow the instructions, not that kind of thing.
A little bit like you would have some instructions to follow, but it would be expected of you to build on top of that and give in whatever you have, and then like self-learning is really important.
Taking initiative, sorting out the problems, taking your own initiatives, and in a sense, street smart.
Well, I mean, I don't think people expect that of you, but you can expect that of yourself, I guess, if you want to survive.
So overall, how will rate your experience in Canada in just one word?
Wow. I have to go through my vocabulary to find one word to describe it. I love it though. I love my life there. Oh, you never let me talk about Montreal, the
Yeah.
big town. I love Montreal too.
Mhm.
And I lived there after living for 8 months, 8 months and 8 months and 2 summers. And I definitely realized the difference between living in a town that has 5,000 people with students present and then a town that has 10 times the amount, or even more. One thing I loved about Montreal, and this depends from city to city, is because it's so big, transportation was really convenient. I could take the bus, the metro, or bike to places, and it would be just as easy. Driving wasn't a necessity, especially if you're in downtown Montreal. And then obviously you have so many things to do, because Montreal is the cultural hub, I would say, of Canada.
Okay, another thing now, when you stayed in Montreal, what about these people are having this impression that you must be knowing French, then only you can.
No. I can attest to that. That is not true. I have a few friends from Montreal who've grown up in Quebec,
Right.
and so I did French immersion, and I can converse with someone who's French. And I can tell you firsthand that there are people who have lived, born and brought up in Montreal who don't speak French, who haven't been brought up with French. So Montreal is that one spot in Quebec where French is really not required to survive. You can definitely do without it. It is an advantage if you know how to, if you can understand
But
it.
it is not compulsion.
It's not a compulsion or a necessity. It might be a necessity for some jobs, but to survive, no.
Great. Durga, I'm thankful to you
Thank
for
you.
sharing your thoughts. Keep coming to India. Keep giving us your insights.
Well, yeah, thank you for giving me my visa or files for visas.
Okay, thank you.